Alright, one more teaser before I reveal what my new car is. I'll reveal it either on Saturday or Sunday. I'm sitting in my 03 Z06 right now. You know when you graduate from high school, if you've already graduated from high school, if you're still in high school, hang in there. But when I graduated, I think most people do this. You empty your backpack into a trash can and you're out of there forever. But I kept one thing. I kept this from my probability and statistics class. I've wanted a Corvette since '96 when the '97 C5 came out. Corvette, still the sought after American icon. Period 4 probability and statistics. And this was my first Corvette right here. This was the first one I bought. Then of course I have to have a Z06, the ultimate version of a C5 Corvette. This is falling apart. I'll share this project someday, but this was my very first Corvette. I paid $17 for it, 82,000 miles. Love this car. Missed the removable roof. This car doesn't have the removable roof on it. So that had 82,000 miles when I bought it. This car had 68,000 miles when I bought it. That was 4 years ago, I think, maybe 5. I don't even remember, but it only has 75,000 miles on it. So I only put like 9,000 miles on this car since I've owned it. I just drive it around occasionally. Don't drive it around much. So my new car. So I had several choices. Like, they weren't my dream car. This is my dream car. But the other cars I were considering weren't dream cars. In fact, I didn't like them till later in life. Suzuki Samurai Geo Tracker. I wanted a little off-roader when I saw how great my friend Samurai was off-roading. That's when I wanted one. I didn't like them initially. Jeep Renegade, it's not a dream car or anything, but I like the fact it's the smallest 4x4 out there with the stick. That's why I considered that. Mazda RX-8, I consider that car because as a kid, one of my favorite Japanese car of all time. I pretended I didn't like it when I was younger because I was all about V8 muscle American cars, but I always admired the Type R, and that's my favorite Japanese car of all time. I like the ridiculous Type R sticker on the side. I would pay up to $10,000 for a 1987 Chevrolet Sprint Turbo because that car rules. I had a Geo Metro, a 94 with 55 horsepower. 0 to 60 in like 18 to 20 seconds. The Chevrolet Sprint Turbo, 70 horsepower with the intercooler turbo, did 0 to 60 in like 8. That's freaking amazing for such a little car. A Geo Metro doing 0 to 60 in 8, that's ridiculous. So I would pay up to $10,000 for that car. I love the ridiculous graphics on the side, like the Type R. I considered a GSR like 10 years ago. Mazda RX-8, the reason I consider that is because of the 9 grand red line. I love driving cars and going to that red line and then shifting. That's the art of driving. A Hummer H3 was another one I considered, and the Jaguar X-Type. But those cars weren't necessarily like dream cars where I daydreamed about them. Like, I lost sleep over thinking about those cars. The car I bought is the first time since my high school days that I fell in love with a car, and I just read about it, watched videos about it. Jay Leno did a video about it. Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear loved the car also. And I just wanted one. And when I first saw it, I told my sister, this is the perfect first performance car for a kid who wants a cool car, but you don't want them to die. Perfect car. So what do you do after? Like, you know, for someone like me, okay, this is my dream car, C5 Corvette. Quarter mile, low 12, 0 to 60. like in 4 flat. Some people get like 3.9 if they're really good. But okay, where do I go from here? Do I go C6 Z06, go for that 11-second quarter and solid 3-second 0 to 60? I actually went down in power, a lot down in power. This car that I got, it's the evolution of who I am as a car guy. When I was a kid, I thought it was all about 0 to 60 time. Like, if your 0 to 60 was so, like, I thought the NSX sucked because the Camaro was a lot faster and cost 20 grand, and the NSX was 80. Like I said though, I still admire the Type R. There's something about that car I always admired, but I wasn't allowed to admit it. But this new car I got, this is what I feel. The new car I got, what I really like about it, really basic dashboard, no touch screen, nothing like that. It's a manual. So for me, driving is about that interaction. Driving a manual, changing gears, not caring about your text, not caring about being on Facebook or Instagram. You just want to drive. You want to hear the motor, want to hear the exhaust, and you're having a good time. My next car, or my new car, sounds good. Sounds good. It's a stick. It looks great. It's not the fastest car. In fact, my first decent performance car, and if you've known me for a long time, my Buick Regal GS 97 supercharged, 240 horsepower, 280 foot-pounds of torque, 0 to 60 in about 6.5, 14.8 quarter mile. That car stock is faster than my new car. But, you know, I modified that Regal. I never got the official time. I always did the 1/8 mile. That's the only track I had available. But I had modded that to a point where I was beating, you know, the first generation Dodge Challengers with the Hemi. I was beating them by 2-3 cars in the 1/8. So I got my Regal that fast. And that was a big step in my life because that was my first fast car that wasn't 0 to 60 in the 9s and 10s and 11s, maybe even 12s. It was in the 6s. My next car, or my new car, it's not quite in the class. It's in the same class of like your Civic SIs, Golf GTIs, but it's not as fast as those, but I think it sounds better. It looks better. And I've been daydreaming about it since 2012. So I'm going to share the exhaust clip right now. It's significant that it's as significant, almost, my Corvette Z06 and my first Corvette. That's the most significant purchase as a car guy. My Regal, probably number 2. And this new car is probably tied with my Regal. My Regal was my first fast car, and I loved it. Modified it, intercooler, smaller supercharger, pulley headers, got it faster than a first generation Challenger. So it was very respectable. It wasn't the fastest car in the world, but I had so much fun in that car. This new car, it's almost as fun as my Corvette. That's how much fun I'm having right now. So I'm gonna share a sound clip right now. It's so nice. Security was checking it out.